We all come from different backgrounds and practice different traditions, but we belong to one humanity. At Valley Strong Credit Union, we care deeply about the communities where we live and serve. That's why over the past 80 years, we've donated and invested millions of dollars into various partnerships, nonprofits, and businesses in Kern County. And as we continue to grow, we remain rooted here in our community. Valley Strong. Grow your possibilities. We all come from different backgrounds and practice different traditions, but we belong to one humanity. At Valley Strong Credit Union, we care deeply about the communities where we live and serve. That's why over the past 80 years, we've donated and invested millions of dollars into various partnerships, nonprofits, and businesses in Kern County. And as we continue to grow, we remain rooted here in our community. Valley Strong. Grow your possibilities.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the home of the Ridgeview Wolfpack as Ridgeview hosts 3-0 Centennial. Ridgeview 1-2 in the Southwest Yosemite League, coming off a stunning victory over the Mustangs. We have Centennial coming off an amazing victory over an Independence team that was kind of expected to do big things tonight or this year, but hasn't really started off like that. So we're going to see an amazing battle of some offenses. I'm Kenny Calvin, joined by my coach Rick Van Horn on the Kern High Network. We want to thank all of our sponsors, especially Valley Strong Credit Union, as well as our staff down at the Kern High School District Superintendent's Office and Kern High Network staff. Also want to give a special shout out to the Ridgeview High School staff and administration principal Roger Sanchez, AP of Instruction Taisha Alvarado, AP of Administration Drew Parker, Athletics Director Shane Corner, and Activities Director Jose Valdez. So, Coach, got two special offensive players. We got some special defensive players, but I think people came out to see some special offense on both sides of the football.
Yeah, they did. For Centennial, you know, it starts with the quarterback, Adam Copas. He's only a junior, but their big man thus far has been number 9, Jackson Santiago, 6'3", 215, and only a junior.
Woo! Jackson Santiago, son of my college teammate Hernan Santiago, my team captain. Expect amazing things out of number 9. So the kick is off, and that's going to stay in bounds and taking at the 4-yard line. And now he looks like he has room, and across the 25, still on his feet across the 30, is Noe Estrada, the junior defensive back. So the Golden Hawks are going to start off with some amazing field position for Coach Storette and his offense.
Yeah, he is. You know, they like to throw the ball. This guy's already thrown the ball almost 90 times this year. Copas, he's completed 50 for 905 yards and 11 touchdowns.
Wow,
only
11 touchdowns.
Only 2 interceptions. So he's hitting around the 65% mark, which is great for a high school kid in his 3rd game as a varsity quarterback.
Wow, so they come out in the empty black set against the quarters look, 40 even front for the Ridgeview defense, but now we have a flag, and that gives us the opportunity to highlight something else special that's happening. So for the first time in Kern High School football history, we have an all-black officiating crew led by James Taplin, the white hat, who was also my first coach for the Bessie-Owens Bobcats flag football team in 1986. How about that for some history? So congratulations to those gentlemen as we have our first penalty of the game. Now it's going to be 1st and 15 for Centennial. Right away, RPO read zone. Take it for 3 yards, maybe 4. And now we have a penalty flag already. So 1 play and 2 penalties already. A little funky in this crosstown rivalry, Coach.
That's right. Ridgeview on defense, you know, they've got the number 4 is their leading tackler, Isaiah Nunez.
Nice.
He was a starter last year, coming back here for his senior year, so he's got plenty of experience out there on the field.
The Nunez name is one that has put in a lot of work here in Kern County football. So we'll see what he has for his defense for the Ridgeview Wolfpack. You know, we talk so much about offense naturally in football, but defense and in the trenches is where the money is made. So we'll make sure to give those guys the credit. 2nd and 10 for Centennial. Trips right to the boundary against a single high safety look for Ridgeview. Now you have motion. Oh, and they're going backside, and that's Jackson Santiago that they're going after, and that's great defense.
We got a flag down. It looks like it's going to be some kind of PI on
number 19 for Ridgeview.
Right away,
it's
Santiago.
on Ridgeview, yep.
Paying dividends. You know, and sometimes as Gregory Jackson III gets that pass interference, that play alone is a great example of why every now and then you have to take shots, because if it's not a caught ball, usually 60% of the time it gives the opportunity for a flag to be called, and that's what happens when you got the one-on-one mismatch.
Yeah, you got to give your players a chance to go out and make plays, you know, and in that height mismatch that Santiago is going to have most of the time, you're always in a win-win.
So immediately you see Centennial coming out and playing a bit of mind game with Ridgeview with the snap count. You know, you already have some extracurricular things going on. One thing we don't want to see is a penalty-riddled game, but from the offensive perspective, it's working to their advantage.
Yeah. And to harp on Santiago a little bit more, he's averaging 21 yards a catch.
Sheesh. Superstar. So now they go inside read zone again, and that's an amazing carry for about 6 yards, and that's going to be enough for first down yardage. Jackson McDonald, the senior running back, doing damage, but great block by that guard and center.
So you got Jackson Santiago and Jackson McDonald.
The Jackson 2.
Yeah.
All we need is 3 more Jacksons. Where's Eddie when you need him, Coach?
That's right.
Shout out to my man Eddie Jackson, who used to hold it down for Ridgeview security, but he's moved on to bigger and better things. 1st and 10 for the Centennial Golden Hawks. Check with me to the sideline to Coach Durrett. 40 even front for Ridgeview.
That was.
Pass completed on the outside. The number 5 for Centennial, tackled by number 2 for.
You know, Centennial, they use a host of receivers. They kind of run the running back by committee. A lot of guys carrying the ball, but a lot of guys catching the ball. Not only Santiago, but Hoban Hogue, who's averaging actually 25 yards a catch.
Wow. I mean, and that's one thing that we have seen from a Centennial football team is a lot of spreading the wealth. They don't have Levi Manning anymore to make plays as an individual, so they got to spread the wealth.
Pass to the right to number 9.
And this is the first time we've seen these guys play, and it's only been this one drive, but they seemed a lot more polished now than they did with Manning last year.
Taking him out was number 5.
He was doing a lot of running around, trying to make plays with his feet. These guys are pretty 1, 2, 3 balls away. So much smoother transition.
Well, so interesting sequence of events as they move the chains back after a penalty was called. So not sure what happened as we were changing the dialogue, but usually once the chains are set, they stay where they are. We took our eyes off the field and they walked him back. We'll try to get an update on what happened there. But nonetheless, it's going to be second and about 10.
So after marking off that holding penalty, we are going to
for Centennial.
Second down.
And so it was a holding penalty, which nullified the first down, and that's why they brought the chains back. Moving a little too quick for the chain game. So 2nd and 8 for Centennial, and they're standing that empty set. And this is putting a lot of pressure on a Ridgeview defense to cover guys in space. Motion, and now they fake the jet sweep, and they're looking to go deep, but great coverage downfield. Oh, and that's picked off! Picked off by the Ridgeview defender, and a great effort, and we'll get a number. And it looks like the defender who picked it off may be injured right away, as the coach was right on the spot.
I think that's 18. I'm not sure.
So we'll try to get a number on that, but that was an amazing break on the ball.
Jackson with the fantastic hands.
Wow.
That was immediate. As soon as he hit the ground, that coach was right there. Number 19 for Ridgeview.
Right, so that's going to be Gregory Jackson III, making up for that pass interference penalty that he had covering Santiago. So amazing effort, and right away Ridgeview defense saying, hey, Coach Cal, watch this.
Going to give us a Ridgeview first down.
1st and 10, Ridgeview with the huge interception. So now we have Centennial, 40 even front, single high safety. And they're going RPO zone inside.
And off up the guts is Zamir Hall.
Now we get a chance to see
2nd down.
Zamar Hall, the 5'8", 180 senior, speed demon, maybe one of the faster guys in town, especially when he's carrying the football.
Absolutely. He's an amazing athlete, top to bottom. Comes from a lineage of great running backs, so we'll see what they can do. But Centennial has him sniffed out, and that's just 2 plays going nowhere.
Off the 24 Hall. Loss of about 4.
So speaking of Hall, we'll get to some of his numbers as he gets 2 carries in a row. Last week he had 16 carries, 224 yards, averaging 14 a pop with 3 touchdowns. And Stockdale isn't playing their greatest football, but they're definitely not a team that's going to give up 200 yards every week when they play.
They're coming close, though.
They're coming close. Traditionally, I should say. Oh, those Mustangs going to be mad at you, Coach.
Yeah, I know it.
3rd and long. Oh, and that's a lateral to Hall. Oh, an amazing pursuit. Still on his feet, but
wow.
Dangerous pass in your own end.
That was a lateral, too. That was a tough pass to throw when the receiver's going sideways. It looks like a very short, easy pass, but when that guy's running away from you sideways from that quarterback, it's a tougher throw than usual. You'll see Ridgeview, that's the new fad now. The coach is wearing the gloves on the sideline, orange or green, like the quarterback.
Right. Get that recognition.
Yeah, but most of them aren't playing, and it's 101 degrees out here.
High snap. And he gets it off. That's going to take a Ridgeview bounce. Nice punt out to about the 43, and Centennial doing a great job of avoiding disaster and not giving up points on the turnover.
That's what we talked about, hidden yards there. Centennial lost 8 yards by not catching that. And that's the hidden yards we talk about. You and I especially, special teams, penalties, that once you add those up at the end of the game, a lot of times, you could be in the triple digit, 100 yards, losing 100 yards, just hidden yardage.
Right, just by not catching the punt. Tough job, but somebody's got to do it. 1st and 10 for Centennial. Now they're in the shotgun double set. against the quarters look for Ridgeview. A 4-3 defense with a 40 even front. They go back to that RPO zone read that's worked so well, but great job by the interior of the defensive line by Ridgeview Wolfpack.
Again, Jackson McDonald for about a gain of 3.
A host of
Down by number 5,
Wolfpackers.
Jason Grant on the tackle.
Yeah. I saw TJ Stalker in there too. He's been one of their better players on defense the first 3 games.
Ridgeview playing some very exciting defense so far through the first quarter. 6:38 to play on Kern High Network. Kenny Calvin and Rick Van Horn. We got our producer-director, Dr. Julian Wilson. Fresno State Bulldog legend. But now we got a ball going to the end zone, and that's going to be Candy and a touchdown
to number 9, Santiago
by the main man, Jackson Santiago. And right away, sudden change.
He made that look easy, didn't he?
Yes, he did. So poised, calm, caught it at the highest point with a defender right in his stomach. Just an amazing job playing at the highest point.
Yeah, he took that. That was Greg Jackson who intercepted the ball the last series. He says, you were picking on my little brother here. Let me come guard me like that.
Well, you know, for Gregory Jackson, it's a matchup that you have to be looking forward to based on the fact you know the ball is coming your way. And as defensive backs, we're usually receivers who didn't get to catch the ball. So you know if the ball is coming your way, that's your chance to make plays. He made one early in the first quarter. That one goes to Santiago, and Centennial gets their first lead with a 7-0 bomb by Jackson Santiago. But how about the ball placement, Coach? That was right where it needed to be, too.
And the other thing is he had plenty of time. You know, that's a big thing for Centennial. They've got to keep their quarterback clean. What I mean by that is they can't let, no sacks, can't have him running around. He needs to be right back there and throw the ball to the playmakers.
Yeah, he definitely had a nice pocket. Beautiful poise, nice pocket. But like we said earlier, one-on-one matchups with Jackson Santiago usually going to work in his favor. We've already seen 2 long balls go his way. He already has one huge pass interference, and now he has the 60-yard bomb that he caught him over one-on-one coverage.
And if you're Ridgeview, you know, you start the game out usually, you got a 4-man front. If we're not getting pressure with 4, guess what? Got to add 1. So we'll go with 5, and then we'll go with 6 if that's not getting it done. And while you're adding a guy, you're subtracting the guy in the secondary, so you've got to man up. They're giving Centennial receivers a lot of room.
So now Hall got a nice opportunity, but now he has a clip, and that's going to be a good one to just get out of bounds and avoid getting hurt. And now we got a nice scrum going on in the middle of the field, and ooh, it smells like August. But now it's September, though, so. So it'll be 1st and 10 for Ridgeview. That's more than likely going to be a block in the back. That'll be a 10-yard variety that'll take them back to just about the 19-yard line, or maybe the 14-yard line after the walk-off.
You know, there's 3 surprise teams this year, I think, in the county. You got Centennial, Frontier, and Tehachapi.
Nice.
All 3 undefeated this year. I think, well, Frontier,
so we had a whole
maybe not, but they are.
Absolutely. That's a great point, Coach.
Yeah.
Because we saw, you know, they definitely, there was some mistakes in the game and everything else, but they came out playing fantastic.
Yeah.
Quarterback play was precise, pro-style offense, getting everything they wanted from a pro-style coaching staff. But I love hearing that Tehachapi is good again because it just reminds me of the old days. Tehachapi always had squads. Kurt Lieben good.
Yeah. My
tight end for my Renegades, Josh Acosta. Like, amazing players. Patrick Duffy. You know, those are just 2, 3 of my teammates that I had from the 90s era, and those dudes were some hogs. We never got to play them, but they were some great teams. All right, so Ridgeview looking to pass, and now they got pressure. And, great decision getting up inside the pocket. And that's a nice decision by Mason Mendoza, sophomore quarterback for the Ridgeview Wolfpack.
Yeah, you know, we're talking about those as surprise teams. Of course, we know the cream of the crop is Liberty this year, and got a tough one tomorrow night against Buchanan.
Yeah, I got to keep reminding myself that it's not Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Thursday night football on Kern High Network. It's starting to feel good out here. Tough running inside, and now we're seeing an example of how strong and powerful Hall is as he takes it for a first down game.
Well, you can see, you know, he's only 5'8", but you can just look at him, and he's got some thick trunks down there.
Oh, yeah.
He's got some thighs. He's got some weight behind that 5'9" frame.
Absolutely. He got a neck on him, too.
Yeah. like a little Barry Sanders.
Yes, he is. Not a bad comparison, young man. 1st and 10 for Ridgeview, and now they go jet sweep, and that's a pass, actually, ladies and gentlemen, as the quarterback shovels that forward. Last week we saw one of those, Coach. They shoveled it forward, and they called it as a fumble.
I remember. And I believe it was a 4th down, wasn't it?
It was. It was a 4th down play. Shovel pass. They shovel it forward. Play made famous by Drew Brees.
Yeah.
And it's an incomplete pass if the ball hits the ground. Nonetheless, they call it a fumble. Turnover on downs. 4:32 to play in the first quarter. Centennial up 7-0. Shotgun spread set for Ridgeview, and they're looking to pass. And he has a man in the flat, and that's caught by Hall. He's across the 25. Still on his feet and tackled at the 33-yard line.
Tackled by Santiago, pulling double duty tonight.
Man, speaking of new and improved, how about this uniform combination of Centennial with the black pants? I kind of like that. A little different from their gold look in the red. Oh, he has a man, and it's caught. Oh, it's dropped. Should have been caught, but dropped by number 2, Tremaine Stocker.
He catches that. He's still running.
Right, and I said he caught it because he should have.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that man flashing across his face at the last second can play with your vision. But nonetheless, a ball that should have been caught and that would have been a touchdown, he'd be running to the plaza by now.
Yep. And now you go from a possible touchdown to a 4th down and punting.
Absolutely, and that's how you can lose a grip on a football game. 4th and 4. Now we have a timeout on the field, Ridgeview, and if you're calling a timeout right here.
That's going to be their first charge timeout.
Oh, now they're a man short, and that's definitely going to upset Coach, as you don't like wasting timeouts just to get a man out there on 4th down.
No JV game prior to this game. I guess we were informed by Dr. Wilson that games are being played on Saturday mornings.
Wow.
That's not official, but I've heard some of these, they're rescheduling some games, freshman games that would be played at 5 to 6 o'clock in the afternoon to Saturday mornings.
Definitely untraditional, but think about it this way, Coach. How cool is it to have so many games on a night throughout the week, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, to have high school football? Man, that's amazing.
32, Carlos Villon for the punt.
His last punt went about 25 yards in the air. He got an 8-yard roll.
Oh!
And our punt returner was standing back 40 yards. That one went 20 yards in the air.
Yeah, and that's a situation where you got a sophomore in Jesse Gonzalez.
That's actually, tell your coach has got to move this guy. If this guy hasn't punted the ball over 30 yards,
Absolutely.
probably all week, and you got him back there 40 yards.
I'll tell you what, though, the way that pressure looked right there, you're going to see Centennial probably come up with a block scenario.
Yeah.
Being that they can't get anything out of a return game. So now we have a pistol formation in the tight double set for the Centennial Golden Hawks. Oh, and again.
Big boy.
We got movement inside by number 79, Sincere Wright.
He's a big boy. 6'2", 310. Woo!
Yeah, once you get all that weight moving,
yeah.
It's like trying to stop my UConn coach. It's a little early breaking.
He's only a junior.
Jet sweep in the round. An amazing blocking on the edge, and that's a nice carry by Hoban Hoge. So call me crazy, Coach, but do we have twin coaches? Because our coach to the right looks exactly like our coach down on the bottom.
Yeah, he sure does.
And we'll try to figure that out.
I don't know which is which.
First to 10 Centennial. They come out in that empty black set.
Casey Quinn's got a stunt man, huh? He doesn't feel. Man, that's just like taking candy from a baby there. 5-yard hitch, 10 yards after the run, yards after the catch.
Yes, indeed. Jackson McDonald, part of the Jackson 2 that we talked about. You know, the coaching staff wanting to pick. And that looked like somewhat of a rub route.
But you can see this offense compared to last year's Centennial, in which it's much more on time, crisper, balls out on time. Quarterback hasn't been flushed out yet.
Yeah, definitely no slight to Levi because he was definitely a phenomenal player. But it was just, you know, looks like a lot more organization from an offensive scheme standpoint. Now they go back to that power, and that's a nice power run inside by Jackson McDonald once again.
Pickup of about 6 yards. Brought down by number 3, Isaiah Nunez.
Amazing job, and Nunez on the tackle again, senior DB.
Now, the thing I noticed about Centennial is they're packed with juniors. Copus, the quarterback, Santiago, I believe Jackson.
Jackson McDonald's a senior.
Okay, Hoban Hoge.
Hoban Hoge, yeah, he's getting a lot of carries through this first half as well. Oh, and great coverage on that out. Probably should have went to the slant on that because you had two defenders going to the outside route, and you got a one-on-one matchup again with Jackson Santiago, probably going to end up being the best receiver in the central section. 1:44 to play in the first quarter. Kern High Network, Kenny Calvin and Rick Van Horn, along with Dr. Julian Wilson.
He had 19 catches coming in.
Woo! 19 catches
in 3 games. So
wow.
He's already got a handful tonight already.
Wow, I remember my season total as a sophomore was 25. So we have a timeout on the field. We'll take our first break and give our sponsors an opportunity and come back with more Kern High Network football right after this.
We all come from different backgrounds and practice different traditions, but we belong to one humanity. At Valley Strong Credit Union, we care deeply about the communities where we live and serve. That's why over the past 80 years, we've donated and invested millions of dollars into various partnerships, nonprofits, and businesses in Kern County. And as we continue to grow, we remain rooted here in our community. Valley Strong. Grow your possibilities.
Welcome back to Ridgeview High School, Kern High Network football, brought to you by Valley Strong Credit Union. Centennial Golden Hawks up 7-0 off of a 50-yard bomb on a post route to Jackson Santiago. Ridgeview played some great defense, got an interception by Gregory Jackson, but wasn't able to do anything with it. So now you got Centennial right back knocking on the door, and they're going with the click slant, and a drop ball.
That pass is incomplete.
Little bit behind them. Adam Copus wish he can put that a little bit more in front of him, but what he's afraid of is that free safety beaming down on that slant route, and that's going to be incomplete, bringing up 4th down. So a huge opportunity.
Yeah.
Like Ridgeview's going to go
Fourth
for it
and
on fourth down.
about 6. They're going for it from the, what are they on, the 23-yard line. You talked about the trickery they used earlier. Let's see if they're going.
Oh, and now they go double reverse. And they got room
got the
across
first down,
the 10.
and
that's
he's got
a
the touchdown.
Nice design, Roland Myers. Speaking of youth, coach, sophomore Roland Myers in for the touchdown on the double reverse.
Well, we talked about some trickery going to be used here.
Well, hey, coach, you always got your crystal ball out. You said it. They come out in that bunch set. Usually people are expecting crossing routes, and that's probably what Ridgeview was thinking. But they do a great job on the ground, and they fake that power that's been going so well and run the reverse right behind it. And just great execution and blocking on that backside.
Yeah.
So, Coach, if we think about it, you go back to that drop pass. As the kick is no good.
That kick is no good.
It'll stay 13-0 Centennial, but I go back to that drop post route that could have been a touchdown, like you said, by Tremaine Stocker. He drops that ball off the chest. You punt it the next play. 3 plays later, they're right back in the red zone.
Yeah.
And now you're down 13-0 when it could have been 7-7.
Yep. You know, that was the key, and I had it written down. Ridgeview had to get off fast and score early. Okay? They had to be a first-strike team today. Didn't happen. Now they're sitting back on their heels, just kind of playing a lot of defense and reacting to what Centennial, whatever they want to do.
Absolutely. Definitely about execution. Making the big plays when you have the opportunity to make the big plays, especially to a team that you're not really expected to be competing with. A lot of people had Centennial in a landslide, but this first quarter has been a lot closer than people expected. So with 1:32 to play, Centennial up 13-0. Now you got Stocker getting it up and out to about the 27-yard line.
Number 2, Stalker, taking the return.
It'll be 1st and 10 for the Wolfpack, heading north.
First down.
Good return for Stocker. You know, Ridgeview, it's not like they've been playing a lot of whamsy-pamsy out there. They opened up with Clovis West and played Liberty. Didn't score a point against either one, but still lined up and has been on the same field with 2 of the best in the Valley this year. So they definitely weren't going to be intimidated by Centennial.
Yeah, and that's a great point that you make, Coach. You know, games where you take losses like that build character. I wouldn't know too much about 42-0 losses. Well, I wouldn't know nothing at all about 42-0 losses, but.
You know, that's kind of, there's 2 philosophies. You know, these guys are scheduling, these guys are just way over their head, getting their teeth kicked in, and saying, oh, it builds character. Well, I don't know about that, Joe.
Right.
Your teeth kicked in, didn't
Right, and then you end up losing guys.
And you get off on the wrong foot, so now you're running behind the whole season, trying to catch up. But you get to claim the fame, I played Liberty and I played Clovis West, and I'll take anybody on.
Yep. 1st and 15. Oh, and now we got our first trickery from Ridgeview. Oh, and that was a nice concept, but just overthrown to Stocker as they fake the quick screen and go to the wheel route right over the fingertips of Stocker.
A little hitch and go there with the wheel route.
Coach, to go back to your last point, there's 2 teams who struggled last year, started off 0-6 and ended up in the state playoff too. So, you know, it works both ways. If you got the right guy in the locker room that can keep them motivated.
Yeah, but again, none of these teams are scheduling, you know, 1 and 2 divisions higher.
Right.
And some of the better teams in town are going out of the area to schedule to get your teeth kicked in.
Ridgeview looking to take some shots. Oh, and they had a matchup. Just bad timing as the receiver had a step. He breaks it inside. The ball goes outside. That looked more of the receiver's fault than the quarterback's fault because the quarterback wants to put that to his outside shoulder. Third and long for Ridgeview, an important one. As it's still first quarter, ladies and gentlemen. And now you got no receiver in the route. Oh, and we got a non-contact injury.
Looked like Estrada, number 1. He started grabbing this. It's either a hamstring or a cramp.
Yeah, and we're hoping it's a cramp, ladies and gentlemen, because that's one of those that you don't like. As he was going to make the attempt for the interception, just reaches and pulls back, doesn't even really go after it and dive after it.
Right.
So we'll take a break for the injury timeout here on Kern High Network and be back with more Ridgeview football after this. We are back on Kern High Network. Noe Estrada, the injured defensive back and punt returner, looked like he may have pulled a hamstring, caught a cramp. And now we have more sprinklers. Ridgeview said, hey, if you can't slow him down, turn the water on.
Yeah. And there we go. 15 yards in the air. This punter's getting a lot. Lots of work tonight, but the more work he's getting, the worse his average is getting.
Right. And it's still frustrating to see the punt returners not putting themselves in a position to catch, to field the ball.
They're back 40 yards still.
Right, because one of the things that we want to do as punt returners, you're trying to secure field position. That's the prime job. That's your prime job. It's not to run it back all the way to the house every time. You know, if you do, it's great. It's to secure field position. Yeah. So every time you do not catch the football as a punt returner, you're costing your offense money.
That's right.
1st and 10.
Uh-oh.
And they got a man, and they're going back to that post. And it's Santiago. Oh, right over the fingertips. Good coverage by Gregory Jackson.
That was one that he probably thought he should have caught.
And we do have Laundry, and that's going to be a holding penalty on Ridgeview. And again, taking the shots, costing them.
Yep.
Or paying dividends for the Golden Hawks.
We talked about this, you know, the things that Ridgeview had to do to win. They're going the complete opposite. They had to win first down, get 6 yards or more on first down. They can't be chasing they couldn't be chasing the chains all night long. And here they are, 3rd and long, 4th and long, you know, and they're doing that. And the hidden yardage battle.
Yep.
You know, so it's still only first quarter. So they got time to regroup.
Yeah, we had a running clock at the end of the 3rd last week as the Arvin Bears put in work over Kern Valley in their homecoming, but now you got Centennial looking to put in work, and that's a nice completion, and they're winning the first down, Coach.
Brought down by 2 stalkers.
The good thing when we came out is these two teams, Ridgeview and Centennial, are basically 2 full teams. They're all carrying close to 55-plus guys, where we've seen some teams this year that, you know, they're down under 40.
Yeah, and it was actually tough to see a collegiate team come down to town, and L.A. Pierce would only having about 46 guys. They had guys going both ways last week at the collegiate level.
And I feel sorry, you know, they had to cancel their program last year.
Yeah,
I mean, that's been down. That program's been down and out for a while. Why they would That's another one. They're in a safety hazard there when they schedule
Right.
a Bakersfield or an El Camino, Mount Sac.
Right.
That's going to be the end of the first quarter.
So that's going to be the end of the first quarter. We'll take a break as Ridgeview continues to water their grass for the third time in the first quarter. Right after this.
We all come from different backgrounds and practice different traditions, but we belong to one humanity. At Valley Strong Credit Union, we care deeply about the communities where we live and serve. That's why over the past 80 years, we've donated and invested millions of dollars into various partnerships, nonprofits, and businesses in Kern County. And as we continue to grow, we remain rooted here in our community. Valley Strong. Grow your possibilities.
Not making it the best it could be. We are back. Centennial threatening again, and now you got a quarterback keeper. And that's a good job by the defense of Liberty. Liberty. Ridgeview. We're talking about some of the matchups over the break. But nonetheless, for Ridgeview, this is a down in situation where you don't want to give them any more yards, and most of the yards they've been giving them have been penalties. So right now it's just playing mistake-free football and trying to avoid extra disaster.
That's right. Now we've got a third and about 4. Okay. So let's see what Centennial does. Last time, 2 series ago, they tried the hard count to try to draw Ridgeview off, and they actually did. So we'll see what happens here.
Now you got to shift. They go to trips open. And now they're going inside zone read. And if they can make that tackle, and they can't, and that's going to be a first down, Centennial. And just a great job by that running back getting to the edge because it looked like they had contained.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the Jackson boys, Jackson McDonald.
Yeah, so that's, crucial third down opportunity, 3rd and 5. You expect them to pass. They're in the trips open set. And here comes the RPO zone read power to the backside. First and 10, Centennial. Oh, fumble snap and no pressure.
Oh, Santiago was wide open.
Oh, my goodness. And that's going to be incomplete. But he had a shot.
Right off the ball, he was wide open running down there. Jackson recovered, caught up, and that was actually another ball that Santiago should have had.
Yeah, and it has to be an amazing luxury to just be able to throw it up after you fumble the snap because you know your guy is the best on the field. Great effort by the defensive back.
Yeah.
But
great
again,
recovery. Yeah.
We thought it was good coverage.
He catches the ball clean instead of the bobble from Copus, and he gets that off. Santiago had him beat by 10 yards.
Absolutely. And as a defensive back, one of the toughest things to do is try to cover a ball that's coming late. Trips open set. And they're going quick hitch to the top, and that Santiago makes one miss, and that's going to be a touchdown, Centennial. Wow.
Made it look easy.
Made it look easy. And as defensive backs, you taught us this very well, Coach, as my first varsity football defensive back coach. Don't take a play off just because they came over here last time. Because guess what? they could come right back at you.
Yep.
And real offensive coordinators love to do that because they know that young defensive backs are usually going to take a play off. And that's kind of what you see happen there in a one-on-one matchup up top when you don't make a tackle and he takes it in for a hitch. Amazing design, and now they're going for two in a pistol bunch formation. And now they go with that power sweep outside, and great job.
What a great job.
Amazing tackle on the play.
Isaiah Nunez.
So Nunez does a fantastic job of containing that and getting a stop on the two-point conversion, but it is Centennial up 19 so far over the Ridgeview Wolfpack with 0. Still a lot of football left to be played, though, Coach.
Yeah, there is. You know, and I didn't think Centennial would start chasing points this early, trying to make up for that missed extra point. So now they're down 2 extra points.
Well, I decided to wear shorts since it's 107, and these mosquitoes is on me, boy. I forgot my off. I'm going to pay for it
Have
tonight.
you seen that big old green bug that's been hanging around here? He was on my shirt, and he was on Julian's shirt.
10:22 to play. We're going to get back to football and not the bugs. But amazing crowd here at Ridgeview High School. Love to see the purple and gold. They're out here to support. Got a few Centennial faithful that made the trip across town. But Ridgeview trying to get back in it. They'll take it at the 10, and they just have nowhere to go. Amazing coverage. And that's going to be down at the 26-yard line, and it'll be 1st and 10. And I expect Coach Starrett and the rest of his staff to stay aggressive when they get the opportunity. But right now you got Ridgeview coming out trying to do the best they can to extend some of this clock. Because the point I was trying to make is if they don't get something out of this drive, you have another hungry offense that's coming back out to continue to push the pedal to the metal. And for the 4th time tonight, the sprinklers have come on. Somebody missed the cue because the Ridgeview on offense now. You got to wait till Centennial got it. Trips up and set. Now they're going to take a shot. He got a step, but just not enough air. Good coverage on the play by Kyron Marshall.
Jackson outran that pass.
Something about those Jacksons always got wheels.
Yeah. The young sophomore quarterback's got to catch and throw on that because, you know, a young kid, sophomore kid, not a strong arm, so you got to make up with it by throwing quicker.
Absolutely. He looked a little too relaxed throwing that football. You want to get more of your waist and body English into that. Now they go jet sweep, and he's nowhere to go. Great containment and defense by Centennial. That's a huge 10-yard loss on the jet sweep.
Looked like they had that whole defensive front about 3 yards deep in the backfield just waiting on Jackson.
Absolutely. Amazing pursuit.
Jackson's looking over the sideline going, hey, you guys are beating the heck out of me out here.
But, Coach, it alludes to your point earlier. Ridgeview just has done a horrible job tonight on 1st down, setting themselves behind the gun. You know, and now you got a situation where for the 3rd straight drive, you're at 3rd and 15 or more.
Yeah. Chasing the chains again. There we go. We got to.
Oh, and he dropped it, and that's caught off the pick, and that's going to be to the house by Centennial. Another drop football that had potential to be a 1st down if you caught it. Turns into points for Centennial, and that's an absolute disaster this early in the 2nd quarter for the Ridgeview Wolfpack. And if you hear that, ladies and gentlemen, that is silence of a home crowd that's just as shocked as we are, because Ridgeview hasn't played that bad in this first half, yet they still find themselves down 25-0.
They haven't caught any breaks tonight, you know. They did get a turnover early in that first quarter, the Jackson interception, but other than that, they've been 3 and out. The punter's been doing all the work, or most of the work up to this point.
His leg gonna fall off today.
Yeah.
And now, like you said, it's a surprise to see Centennial continuing to chase points. You're up 25-0. You know, you want to give your kicker an opportunity to try to learn how to kick in regular game flow, but nonetheless, they got their 2 points. So we'll take another break with Centennial up 27 over the Ridgeview Wolfpack with 0. Welcome back to Current High Network Football. Kenny Calvin and Rick Van Horn, producer, director Julian Wilson, live from Ridgeview High School. And now we got an offsides penalty on Centennial, and that gives us opportunity to thank the Ridgeview administration, Principal Roger Sanchez, AP of Instruction Taisha Alvarado, AP of Administration Drew Parker, Athletics Director Shane Corner, and Activities Director Jose Valadez. So as a youth residential facility administrator, I'm over here probably twice a week dealing with my clients needing assistance. Amazing job by the staff in the Ridgeview counseling office. They take care of me in there.
So you're very familiar with this campus.
Yeah, very, very familiar with the Wolfpack campus. Also got my teammate Richie Castro coaching over here, our renegade offensive line coach.
Oh, Richie's over here at
Yep.
Ridgeview.
So now we got Hall, and Hall has a lane, and he got one man to beat, and a touchdown saving tackle, and that might have been the kicker that got him. Now, that would be Jimmy Hill that actually tackled him, but if Jimmy Hill didn't get Hall, that would have been to the house.
Yeah, one tackle, one man to beat. That was one of the pluses for Ridgeview in this game, this short game, is their kickoff return. They have been close to breaking a couple.
Yeah, they've definitely had some great opportunities from a field position standpoint. Just haven't been able to capitalize. And let's see if they can get something going on first down. And they go to the ground again, and that's a nice job by Hall hitting the hole and still on his feet. Come on and go with me.
Yeah, he gave Santiago a little ride there.
Come on over to my place. He said, come on and go with me. Dragged that boy about 8 yards. Our first real opportunity to see Hall between the tackles making plays, and you see the potential explosiveness. Shotgun double set for Hall in Ridgeview. Now he has a man on the post, and just underthrown again. Gregory Jackson is running some nice routes tonight. Just not able to get the football to him at the moment. Mason Mendoza struggling to get that ball there. And it's tough because he's getting good protection, Coach, in the spots.
So again, they won on first down. They were 2nd and 2. That allows you to get more time when you're throwing the ball on 2nd down.
Oh, nice. Oh, and that's a fumble. Luckily recovered by Ridgeview. Nice tackle. Popped the ball out from Hall, but just a great opportunity for an offensive lineman to get back on top of it. Now Ridgeview going a little no huddle, trying to get some tempo going, playing a little check with me.
Brings up a 4th and about 11.
Yeah, and at this point of the game, you're on your own side of the field. You haven't had great field position. You know, it's a 4th and 10.
Let's
Or
double
no, it's
down.
3rd and 10, actually. So they're still whether the box is down or the board is wrong. We're trying to figure that out right now. I'm thinking it might be 3rd and 10.
Yeah, I see the line judge saying third down. 3rd and 11.
Oh, and he wasn't even looking for it. Receiver, they run the quick play action pass to try to get that linebacker to step up, throw the slant right behind it, and the receiver wasn't even paying attention. He'd probably still be running.
Well, there's a good chance he was looking at number 9 coming downhill from the safety spot there.
Oh, yeah.
He pulled up once he see the ball was dropped. He pulled off the hit.
Yeah.
Santiago.
You make a great point right there, Coach, because it's easier said than done when you got the biggest guy on the field coming down at you, screaming down, about to tear your head off.
That's right.
So I'll admire my seat from the top as Ridgeview looks to punt with 4th and 11 with 7:25 to play. Oh, and it's almost blocked again. And they don't catch it again, and that's an amazing bounce again for this Ridgeview punter. And now we have a penalty back here, so we'll see what that is. That's a little bit close to the punter. Might have another opportunity if you're Ridgeview, because 4th and 5 gives you a makeable conversion attempt inside your own 40. Let's see what my old coach James Tapp got to say.
He's keeping everybody in suspense. He walks, got to pick up his flag first, walk to the middle.
Oh! Wow, so they wave off the penalty. And ladies and gentlemen, I must be extremely close to the speaker. I'm looking for it. I don't see it nowhere around, but that almost took an eardrum. So 7:13 to play. Centennial up 27-0, and like we said, Coach, this is a team where they're not going to back off. They're going to continue to try to execute, and here they are in that empty black set inside their own 8.
Yeah. Well, they're playing with a little confidence now.
Oh, and that's almost picked off. Great job by Jeremiah Hayes making a break on the ball, and that was dangerous to throw it out right there.
Yeah.
So 2nd and 10 for the Golden Hawks. Adam Kopis got away with one right there. 40 even front, quarters look for Ridgeview. And now they're taking another shot, and they got a man. Oh! They go 4 vertical. They had 2 guys in the same area, Coach.
Little stretch route, and that was actually number 1 there for Ridgeview. Jesse Gonzalez had a chance to come in across and pick that.
Absolutely, a step too late. You know, but those are the opportunities that when you're down 27-0, I'm looking for a guy that wants to dive and make a play.
Yeah.
Like, where's the play going to come from? You know, and that's one of the things that you always want to inspire to your team when you're on the lopsided end of a victory. You have time on the clock. It's 2nd quarter, 7 minutes to go in a football contest. I want to see effort out of all of my guys until there's zeros.
Yeah.
So, Coach, not a lot of games on tonight. We are the only Thursday night game.
Other than the Rams and the Bills tonight.
Right, amazing game. And how about the Bills coming out playing very well early?
Well,
Rams came back and tied it up, and that's all I know. I left the house after that, so I have no idea what happened after that.
Well, I don't know either, because I same thing, 17-10 Bills when I left. And, you know, the Bills are the favorite on odds to win the Super Bowl. Always tough to repeat for any team, and will be for the Rams, too.
Absolutely. Amazing story seeing Von Miller, who I hated as a Bronco, go and transition from the Rams. Had an opportunity to write and cover the Rams over the last year. amazing organization, and an amazing house they have. And they go right back to the same route. And
now,
great play on the outside.
Same play, same exact result. Cornered that time. That time, Gonzalez knew it was coming, and that was his play. Should have made that pick too, but didn't. Knocked it down. Good play instead of a great play.
Definitely great to see him be ready, because they've already taken advantage of you being laxed after we've come to you. Now they tried again, and you were prepared. So great job using the learning experience of getting beat on back-to-back plays. He makes the play and gives his team an opportunity to get the ball back. And you got Stocker back here. He's an amazing athlete. With this field position, he may get a good opportunity to get this in.
Get 10.
So for the first time, I get to see something like my nephew, Elijah Duckworth, out there getting screamed at by his dad, who right below me, Big Mike Duckworth, telling him to get away. Get away, young man. Duckworth, the senior linebacker.
Well, this is about the best field position Ridgeview's had this entire game.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they started on the opposite side of the 50 last drive with 6:43 to play. You see how Centennial is going to continue to approach the game. They're coming out gunning every time, no matter how much they're up. You got to figure out ways to move the chains, and this is not it. Great job by the defensive line. And amazing sportsmanship.
Nathaniel Rosas.
You know, nothing like a guy that can
gets a sack and it helps the quarterback
up.
up.
Yeah, punch you in your mouth and then pick you up.
Yeah.
That's the kind of guys we were, man. We it's all fair in love and war, man. We gonna make sure you get back up so I can do it again. Shotgun spread set for Ridgeview. Centennial Golden Hawks in the 40 even front, and now they go back to Hall, and Hall makes a nice move, making
taking it around the right, making a nice cut up the
making
field.
Santiago miss. That was an amazing job sticking his foot in the ground and getting upfield. Ooh.
Brought down by 17, Jace Gorosky.
At times he looks as good as anybody in town.
And I would definitely put money on that he's just as good as every running back. And now we see Stocker making a play. Great job by Tremaine.
He picked up the first down, but we have a flag.
Oh, we got a flag, but that gives us time to talk about your point, Coach. You can take Hall and put him in the backfield for any team in Bakersfield, and he's probably going to be the number one guy.
Yeah. I didn't think he was, because I hadn't seen him play. He transferred from, he was at Ridgeview, transferred to Garces.
Illegal block in the back.
Left Garces, transferred back to Ridgeview. So I'd never seen him play, and much bigger than I thought.
Yeah,
and quick feet.
What's cool for me, Coach, I announced a lot of the Golden Empire games over the last decade.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, shout out to the Golden Empire Youth Football League, amazing league. But that's the joy that I get out of being up here with you and Doc, is the fact that we've watched some of these kids. I mean, you know, you've had kids play and you coached me. You definitely know where I'm going with this. To see the continued growth of our community continuing to put kids to play at a high level is a beautiful thing.
That's right.
Shotgun double set for Ridgeview. Centennial with some pressure, and quarterback makes a great decision.
Good scramble on that. He got about 10 yards back. Got it to a manageable 3rd and 5 now.
Yeah, and it looks like Ridgeview is going to be comfortable just punting the football back, and you kind of got to wonder what the thought process is, being that you're trailing 27 points. This is the best field position you've had all night.
Yeah.
So unless you're about to run a fake right here, I'm not sure why you run your punt team back out there.
I agree. At some point, you got to.
Back to return for Centennial, number 7, Roland Myers.
Got to let the horses out.
Right, and they've been coming after it. And he finally catches one, and that's probably why he didn't want to, Coach, because he dropped it. And now it's going to be a turnover, and it looks like Ridgeview got the ball. And so we've been begging for him to catch it all night, and we finally see why he's been letting it bounce, Coach.
That fumble was recovered by number 3.
He didn't just drop it once. He dropped it twice.
That's right. And, you know, you've returned punts. It's always harder to run in on a ball than it is to run back. So you might as well move up and force that punter to kick it over your head. It's much like fly ball in baseball. If he kicks it over your head, you've got time because he's kicking it high. But when they're low, wobbly, short, and you've got to run in on them.
Coach, I forget how smart you are until I get back up here every week. You're absolutely right.
Uh-oh.
Oh, amazing! Oh, amazing effort by Gregory Jackson.
Gregory Jackson made the nice adjustment.
He made it, nice adjustment there. Looking for the fade inside, threw it outside, did a 180.
Yeah, amazing job getting his head back around on a ball that went to the outside shoulder like we said it should go. Double move. It looked like it was a little bit of a slow go route. Slant and go. Just unable to bring in the great catch, but Gregory Jackson's running some amazing routes.
Well, he's got to finish out the play. They got to catch those balls.
Huge hit in the backfield by Centennial. And let's see if we can get a license plate on that truck.
Number 44, Mason DeLeon.
Wow, Mason DeLeon with the amazing tackle in the backfield on Hall. And now we have 4:03 to play in this second quarter of action. Centennial holding on to a 27-0 lead. But Ridgeview looking to threaten with their best field position of the game. Now they're looking to throw a corner route, and that's going to be intercepted. And he's going to take it out across the 5. And if he gets outside, and that's going to be intercepted by Santiago. And definitely unfortunate on the best field position of the night for the Ridgeview Wolfpack.
That's a tough route. That smash route, 7 little corner route. You got to have a strong arm because you got to put it. You're trying to slip it inside the safety and above behind the corner there. So you got to have a strong arm, and it's an advanced route to be thrown as a sophomore.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's take in mind, ladies and gentlemen, this is a young kid that we're talking about. He's going to continue to develop and get better. Sadly, that was a situation where it looked like he wanted to throw that ball regardless of what the coverage was, Coach, because he threw that right in the double coverage.
Put a little too much air on it and gave Santiago time to get off the hash and make the interception.
So how about Jackson Santiago? He already has a couple of touchdown catches. Now he adds the interception. He's making our job for the player of the game a little easy through this first half.
That's right. I'm still trying to figure out, what's he going to do where is he going to be recruited and what's he going to play in college? I don't know if he's fast enough yet. I haven't seen his top end speed as a receiver. And without that top end speed, playing offense or defense is going to be out as far as skill. He may have to gain some weight and move down to a strong safety outside backer type.
Yeah, and that was the beauty of his dad, Hernan Santiago. He was praised as this power running back in the frame of Christian Okoye. Back in those days, Herschel Walker, big bruising backs. He gets to college, and he ends up being one of the best linebackers that ever played the game from a middle linebacker perspective and gets a Division I scholarship to go to Washington. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him make the same transition to defense.
Yeah. And, ask him to gain weight, play tight end, put your hand on the ground, H-back, where he'd be a fast H-back compared to a slow receiver. So I don't know. Maybe he can top end run. He's only a junior. He's got plenty of time to think about it and work on it. But he's got all the other tools.
Right, and there's probably listeners saying, well, why are y'all talking about this guy so much?
Yeah.
Have you not been watching?
Yeah.
This guy is making plays all over the field, and he's continuing to make plays on both sides of the football. But we'll take a break with 2:53 to play in the first quarter. Centennial takes a timeout. It'll be third down when we come back. Right on to this.
We all come from different backgrounds and practice different traditions, but we belong to one humanity. At Valley Strong Credit Union, we care deeply about the communities where we live and serve. That's why over the past 80 years, we've donated and invested millions of dollars into various partnerships, nonprofits, and businesses in Kern County. And as we continue to grow, we remain rooted here in our community. Valley Strong. Grow your possibilities.
Welcome back to Kern High Network Football. Kenny Calvin, Rick Van Horn, Dr. Julian Wilson. Special thanks to the Kern High Network and the Kern High School District Superintendents for making everything possible and bringing this amazing broadcast to the viewers in our central section.
I got a feeling Centennial's going to try to get another touchdown before the end of the half here.
Oh, yeah, and they got a matchup. Oh, nice move and catch by Hernandez, and he's still on his feet. Across the 45 to the 40. Amazing effort by Hernandez.
A lot of guys on that Centennial lineup or sideline that can catch the ball.
Yeah, you know, and it highlights the fact that we made early, even though they do have a phenomenal player in Jackson Santiago, there's about 4 or 5 other guys that are going to play college football on that offense.
Yeah, so they throw it around. Copus he's not zeroed in on Santiago.
Now they go redraw.
Oh, McDonald.
Jackson McDonald.
Jackson.
And
yeah,
just like I thought, Coach. Oh, man.
You saw something.
Injury timeout.
Yeah, we saw it at the same time. He was alone, and he went to make that cut inside, and that left knee just buckled.
Uh-oh.
And so, you know, we'll stay here as he's helped up. But that's a situation where he may be a little more hurt than he knows right now, because that was definitely an ugly spill as he went down.
That was one of those unfortunate. He wasn't even tackled. He was more of just planning, and something gave way. And
yeah, and Coach, you know, it looked like he tried to plant with that inside leg instead of planting the power on that back leg, and it was just a funky little cut.
Yeah, something didn't look right.
Man, it's unfortunate. It's 2nd and 8 for Centennial, and they're still looking to take shots. Shotgun double set, and they go inside to the slot, and he's still on his feet across the 20.
Yeah. Well, if you're not going to cover anybody, that's a pretty easy pass to complete.
Brought down by Stalker.
Yeah, and it goes to the point that you made at the beginning of this drive when they were on the 20-yard line. They're going to continue to take shots. They want another touchdown. It's still early in the football game, and they still have a lot of their ones in the game.
Sure. There's no white flags up yet. But again, if you're not going to cover number 8, the slot guy out here, you just drop it off to him.
Yeah, and because that backer should definitely be walked out at least about 3 more yards, but he doesn't. They go opposite side.
Copus completes his quick pass.
Hernandez on the catch on the out. 1:02 to play in this first half.
I think Centennial is actually thinking they're doubling Santiago out there, would leave the flat open. But Copas made a nice throw, a nice catch there.
2nd and 4 for the Golden Hawks. And that's caught on the swing route for another 5-yard gain, and that's going to be 1st and goal. Oh, no, they actually stopped him, so it's going to be 3rd and inches. And Centennial doing a fantastic job of clock management because they're going to score and leave 0 on the clock with 19 seconds. If the Ridgeview defense can't hold them, and now we got a stoppage.
Probably going to be motion against Centennial. That's going to bring it to a 3rd and about 6.
Yeah, so with 14 seconds left.
False start on Centennial. We're going to back that up 5 and replay this 3rd down.
You know, you got Centennial with a 3rd down opportunity.
They still got a chance to get a 1st down inside the 4-yard line. So I believe they've got one time. The clock says they got one timeout left.
Yeah, and you can hear our coaching staff right next to us telling you what's coming. But they go back to the air, and that was almost picked off, and that's going to be a touchdown.
Oh, they're calling him out of bounds.
Oh, they called him out of bounds? Whoa, that looked like it was in from here, but I'm on the opposite side. But just an amazing job to stay focused and catch the football through traffic.
That was another opportunity that Ridgeview went right through their hands into Santiago, who took advantage of it.
Boy, and Santiago is saying, hey, can I get a review up top?
Yeah. That's going to bring a 4th and 5. Like I said, they can't get a 1st down here inside the 4-yard line. You got 5 seconds left.
And here comes that reverse again, Coach. Worked so well. They try it again, and that's going to be stopped. And great job by Ridgeview. That will be the half.
That will be into the half.
Oh, we have a flag. So let's see what's happening. And if the Ridgeview defense, and that's going to be nullified, and that'll send us to the half. First half action. Centennial up 27 over Ridgeview's nothing. We'll be back for 3rd quarter action after this.
We all come from different backgrounds and practice different traditions, but we belong to one humanity. At Valley Strong Credit Union, we care deeply about the communities where we live and serve. That's why over the past 80 years, we've donated and invested millions of dollars into various partnerships, nonprofits, and businesses in Kern County. And as we continue to grow, we remain rooted here in our community. Valley Strong. Grow your possibilities.
It's wicked cool. It's our new aviation class. It gives kids a chance to break into the industry. There's a lot of careers in aviation. This class is a lot more than just flying planes.
We've learned so much already. We've learned how to take off. We've learned instrument flight rules. It's something everyone can do, I think.
Good. And you see, remember that horizon? Try to keep it parallel to your cockpit.
After the 2-year program, they're going to be able to take the knowledge test for their private pilot exam. I am a pilot. I've been in Bakersfield for 10 years. I worked as an instructor for 6 years and then became a corporate pilot. And I'm a teacher here.
We have amazing equipment. Even flight schools don't have that much equipment.
You put a class like this somewhere at North High, and it's really preparing kids to succeed because it gives them a whole new set of opportunities they never knew that they had the chance to pursue. I'm proud to say that I'm from North High School and that we have administration that's willing to put the money into offering really, really neat programs like this and preparing kids to succeed.
A lot of more hands-on activities, a lot more about woodworking and what to do, how to make a career for myself.
It's not only for guys. I am actually learning how to make cupboards and put everything together, like doors, cabinets. It's really fun, actually.
Yeah, well, it's really amazing to see their growth over the course of a year and how they can come in with no real skill at all and leave being able to actually produce furniture and cabinetry.
Houses need cabinets, businesses. Having a pool of resources or kids that have some knowledge in the industry would be real good.
Pull down on that. Let's slide these up. Watch fingers.
It's changed a lot. What I'm seeing here is what it's going towards. The CNC equipment, computers. I could actually build cabinets out of this shop. It's state of the art. It really is.
I am constantly looking for students that have been through these programs. It's always nice to have a person that has some experience. It's a lot easier to train. I think we're fortunate in Bakersfield that the Kern High School District has invested in a program like this. I would encourage other businesses to partner up with the Kern High School District like I've done here, because this really shows you what can be done if business comes together with the Kern High School District.
This is where we're going to train the kids to actually get jobs in the industry. We're going to give them the basic tools that they need, also the skills that they need to understand where they fit into the industry.
All the animated things, because we have everything that we need in the scenes.
They are learning the principles of animation, Photoshop. They're learning how to animate in 2D and 3D. And when you swap to that shape, then you're just going to drag these over here.
The storyboard aspect of creating basically the skeleton of the story, and then just sort of directing people in my vision of what I want in the story. And it's also giving me the advantage of Mr. Plord, since he's worked at so many companies, being able to put it in my resume and be like, this is the art direction I've received.
I was shearing my lamb for fair. I have 2 lambs.
This lamb is stubborn.
Taking care of animals is you feed them twice a day, make sure they have water, walk them, make sure they're ready for fair.
Vet science is the first year before you can actually go into animal science, and it's a lot of like hands-on with the different animals, and you get to learn different things such as giving shots, castrating, all that fun stuff. For me, wanting to be a vet when I'm older, it helped prepares me. All the stuff that I'm learning in ag is definitely going to help me.
I'm in ag communications. Anything that you see on the Facebook page is what we do, and pictures, and we do all the posters that are around campus, anything that just promotes ag.
Our students are all part of the FFA organization, and through that we have a chapter officer team. We do monthly chapter meetings because we're trying to get them involved outside of class, so they can find something that they're interested in, and they need something that's going to hook them so that they're ready for life after high school.
In animal care, the students learn a variety of things, whether it's tools or terms. In the veterinary field, they learn about the skeletal systems, the animal nutrition, the housing, how to properly care for them. They also have the opportunity in the spring to actually go work at a veterinary hospital or at an animal shelter or a grooming salon.
Animal restraint, weight and temperature, pulse, respiration, all of that I learned here.
They take a state certified test, and if they pass, they become a certified vet assistant right out of high school.
It's always hands-on, and so I think that's what really helps us is that we're not just getting it from a textbook, we're actually doing these things, and we're actually practicing these things that we'll be doing in our future careers.
It's wicked cool. It's our new aviation class. It gives kids a chance to break into the industry. There's a lot of careers in aviation. This class is a lot more than just flying planes.
We've learned so much already. We've learned how to take off. We've learned instrument flight rules. It's something everyone can do, I think.
Good. And you see, remember that horizon? Try to keep it parallel to your cockpit.
After the 2-year program, they're going to be able to take the knowledge test for their private pilot exam. I am a pilot. I've been in Bakersfield for 10 years. I worked as an instructor for 6 years and then became a corporate pilot. And I'm a teacher here. We have amazing equipment. Even flight schools don't have that much equipment.
You put a class like this somewhere at North High, and it's really preparing kids to succeed because it gives them a whole new set of opportunities they never knew that they had the chance to pursue. I'm proud to say that I'm from North High School and that we have administration that's willing to put the money into offering really, really neat programs like this and preparing kids to succeed.
We're in manufacturing engineering. We design parts, 3D parts, 2D parts, we create assemblies.
It's helping me get training in all of this stuff, like the computer programs that we have here, the machines that we have here. We learn a lot of math in here, mostly geometry and fractions, because I love math. That's why I'm in this class.
Mr. Lemmy, he's a great instructor.
So the problem is this piece itself.
He really goes hands-on with us. He helps us as much as we can. We've learned a lot from him.
Right now we're supplying students that are skilled in the safety, basic operation of machine work, and then they also leave with some soft skills. They understand they have to be on time. They understand that they have to get up and talk to people. Most of them are walking out of here with a solid foundation in the entry level of a trade.
They can have a job anywhere they go because they have a basic understanding of what it's going to take to put products out that people are going to use.
Hopefully this is a good career for me. You know, end up doing something good, have a good life, and make some money.
Well, we're learning a lot, and especially with just the basic knowledge of what you would need for an entry-level job.
All the basic skills to be a medical assistant in a doctor's office or a clinic.
You're leaning on it, and that'll make a difference.
And then they also do on-the-job training, and they work in doctor's offices or clinics throughout Kern County. The kids are job ready, and many of them are employed before the end of the school year. They're promised a job, as well as they continue their education. We have many registered nurses out there and even physicians.
I'm thinking I want to be an anesthesiologist. So a lot of school, but it'll be worth it in the end. the different roles, what a game designer is, what they do, and how video games are made, and how to deconstruct them.
We're also going to be teaching the hard skills, which includes learning the Unreal Engine. And what the Unreal Engine is it's a game development tool that students will be able to use to make their very own video games. And this is something that actually industry professionals use every day to make some of the top-selling games. They're all the same size. You're all on the same plane. There's no undulating terrain or anything like that.
Our instructor, he's really amazing. He encourages everybody. He's really fun, and he makes learning fun.
So they've got top-of-the-line computers here, and they're set up to excel. I would be surprised if other students their age coming out of high school would have anywhere near the level of expertise that these guys are going to have.
A lot of more hands-on activity, a lot more about woodworking and what to do, how to make a career for myself.
It's not only for guys. I am actually learning how to make cupboards and put everything together, like doors, cabinets. It's really fun, actually.
Yeah, well,
It's really amazing to see their growth over the course of a year and how they can come in with no real skill at all and leave being able to actually produce furniture and cabinetry.
Houses need cabinets, businesses having a pool of resources or kids that have some knowledge in the industry would be real good.
Pull down on that. Let's slide these up. Watch fingers.
It's changed a lot. What I'm seeing here is what it's going towards. The CNC equipment, computers. I could actually build cabinets out of this shop. It's state of the art. It really is.
I am constantly looking for students that have been through these programs. It's always nice to have a person that has some experience. It's a lot easier to train. I think we're fortunate in Bakersfield that the Kern High School District has invested in a program like this. I would encourage other businesses to partner up with the Kern High School District like I've done here, because this really shows you what can be done if business comes together with the Kern High School District.
We all come from different backgrounds and practice different traditions, but we belong to one humanity. At Valley Strong Credit Union, we care deeply about the communities where we live and serve. That's why over the past 80 years, we've donated and invested millions of dollars into various partnerships, nonprofits, and businesses in Kern County. And as we continue to grow, we remain rooted here in our community. Valley Strong. Grow your possibilities.
Welcome back to Kern High Network Football. Kenny Calvin and Rick Van Horn, along with Dr. Julian Wilson, live from Ridgeview High School. Ridgeview started out a little solid. Missed some opportunities with some drop footballs, and it turned into an onslaught by Centennial. So, Coach, what do you expect from a Centennial defense in this second half?
Well, they're just going to do what they've been doing. And letting, there he goes. There goes Zamir Hall.
One man to beat, still on his feet, and that's going to be a touchdown.
And you know,
Hall.
the last punt return, kickoff return he was one step from doing that. And we talked about them doing a great job on their kickoff return because they've been on the field all night long. So
talk about a way to get back into a football game, a special teams play without any time running off the clock is how you do it. And Zamir Hall, like we told you guys, ladies and gentlemen, as good as advertised. This is a kid that can start for any program in the city. However, his family has family ties to the Ridgeview community, and they said, hey, I'm not staying across town. I'm bringing my kid back to where he belongs. And that's one of the amazing examples of why he did come back in Zamir Hall.
Those short little legs were getting him there, I tell you. You know, he's a kid that he has rushed for 429 yards coming into this game.
Wow.
56 carries. That comes out to about 7.7 average.
Wow.
So every time he got the ball in the first 3 games, and that's against Liberty, that's against Clovis West.
Right.
He's getting a first down.
So Ridgeview, I wish I could have been a fly on the wall in the halftime speech, but whatever Coach said, it worked because they came out smoking. But like Coach talked about, they've had some great success in the kickoff return game and special teams. They just haven't been able to do much from the offensive perspective. So, hey, I guess they figured it out. Let's not play offense. Let's just take it to the house.
Yeah.
We got life back in the Ridgeview crowd.
It's either that or they simplify it, just get the ball to Hall as much as we can, however we can. He's our best player. He'll make things happen.
Yeah, that's a great point, Coach, because a lot of their mistakes have been made on first down by trying to overcomplicate things. You're in shotgun with 3 wide. You're trying to throw long bombs on first down, catching them off guard. Sometimes you just got to simplify the process, especially when you got a back as good as Hall.
Well, we'll see if that kickoff return woke up a sleeping giant here in Centennial, even though they're up 27-7.
Oh, and that ball is being picked up. Oh, and they better make the tackle. It's going back the other way, and he's across the 30. One man to beat across the 50 with a cavalry across the 40, and he's going to take it all the way back to the house for the touchdown. Back on you.
Wow. And no flags. So that one's going to hold up.
Are you serious, ladies and gentlemen? So a ball that almost trickled out of bounds dies at the 1-yard line. He picks it up and scats 99 yards. Wow. So I guess nobody wants to play offense in the second half. And it looked like they had it bottled up. They missed 1 tackle. 2 touchdowns in 30 seconds, Dr. Julian Wilson just let us know. But, Coach, like we said, the ball dies on the 1-yard line. It looked like they had it bottled up. He breaks 1 tackle and skates. Wow.
And had a convoy at the end. He picked up a convoy about the 50-yard line.
Yes, he did. So, ladies and gentlemen, 2 kickoff returns back-to-back. And now it is 33-7 with 11:30 to play in the second half, early third quarter. 14 points scored in 30 seconds. Wow. Speaking of wow, we had a chance to see that Thursday night NFL score.
Wow, yeah.
Wow, Buffalo comes away with it 31-10. It was 10-10 when I left the house.
Yeah. 17-10 when I left. Ended up 31-10. The Bills are for real.
The Bills are for real. And I know the happiest man in town is my cousin Calvin. He's the only Bill fan I know.
Now I saw the Coach Starrett keep these guys in the huddle a little longer here, explaining to him. See 24 down there? Do not kick it to 24. Okay.
Absolutely. You know, Coach Starrett, amazing job by his special teams unit getting that kickoff return right after Ridgeview had just took all the momentum. They get it right back. Talk about some amazing football.
Kicker's got one job. Don't kick it to Mr. Hall. And he doesn't.
Now you got Stocker looking to try to make a play, and he's not going to be able to do as much as Hall did. And that's going to be first down from the 25-yard line. So let's see if they try to simplify the process, slow the ball down, because one of the things you don't want to do that they did in the first half, they were 3 and out too fast.
Yeah, they were, and their defense was, like you guys said, like Julian said, their defense was on the field the whole first half. And we're talking about Ridgeview.
The whole first half. Beautiful skyline in the southwest of the city. Ridgeview with the spread offense against a 40-even front. Quarters look for Centennial. And again, like we said, Coach, they come out trying to throw the football, creating some early opportunities, but it's just not working.
Yeah, Mason Mendoza, the young sophomore, he's a transfer from Shafter. Okay, wasn't had a quarterback battle out there, and he decided to take his wares to Ridgeview here.
Yeah, and Shafter's a tough place to play quarterback if you're not the guy. But look at Hall hit that hole, and that's the point that I'm trying to make from a perspective of stop trying to overthink the game. You have a fantastic running back. Until they put 8 in the box and stop this kid, give him the football. And they do. They give it to him right back to back. And like I said, 2 9-yard carries in a row. I mean, they put us up here for a reason.
Yeah.
It seems like we know what we're talking about. You have a running back who may be one of the top 5 backs in the central section. There's going to be times where you just need to simplify the process and just give him the football. We have an injured Ridgeview Wolfpack offensive player. So we'll stay here. It gives us the time to thank our sponsors down at Valley Strong Credit Union, as well as our staff down at the Kern High School District Superintendent's office. Our boss, Stan the Man Green, he'll be going into the Hall of Fame for the BC Renegades next month, October 20th. You guys make sure you go get those tickets. You know, it's going to be an amazing night. You got Stan the Man Green, the only quarterback that has won a national championship for the Renegades. You got the legend himself, Dwayne Dameron, offensive line coach and assistant coach who's coached, I want to say, at least 30 to 40 linemen that have went on to play at the next level. You got Coach Sandy Taylor, Renegade legend and softball coach, and we'll talk about some of the other people going in. But tonight, it's about Ridgeview trying to get some momentum in the second half after a great kickoff return, and now they've had some success running the football in this third quarter. And so Hall bounces it outside, makes 4 people miss, and again, to my point, gets about 7 yards and another Ridgeview first down.
Yep. Not rocket science. You got a player like that, feed him the ball. I'm trying to remember who he kind of reminds me of around here. Kind of Jalen Sykes a couple years ago from Garces. You know, he's got that running style that we talked about. Barry Sanders, loaded ground, 5'8", 190 pounds, and quick feet.
Absolutely. And that's a good thing that it's taking you a few minutes to even compare him to somebody because he's that dynamic. It's only a few names that's going to come up. And now they go to jet sweep outside the stalker, and now we have a flag in the backfield.
Probably going to be against Ridgeview on a hold on the outside on that fly sweep to the left. Hold, Ridgeview.
It's going to be a hold on Ridgeview.
Right away, Coach knew what that was. You know, but that gives us an opportunity to talk about, again, how amazing it is to have our first all-black officiating crew. And not that anything's ever about color, but you got guys like James Taplin who've been officiating for 31 years straight. You know, he was my first football coach, but he also coached or refereed my first collegiate games. I remember my first game, like, Coach Tap, what are you doing out here? You know, but seeing him now 25 years later being this consistent is a beautiful thing. And for them to be celebrated, you know, it made me a little bit emotional earlier because not a lot of people want to do this job.
Right.
You know, we have a shortage this year. A lot of people think they know it all when it comes to the game and criticize officials. It's one of the hardest jobs you can have. So to do it for 31 years and be celebrated as the first all-black officiating crew here tonight. Oh, and that's picked off. And Jackson Santiago with his second interception of the game now has 2 interceptions and 2 touchdowns. Can you say All-American, ladies and gentlemen?
That one came off a tip and another opportunity that Ridgeview had that they let go, and it turns around and becomes an opportunity for Centennial.
And the maddest person on the football field or on the sideline right now is Zamir Hall, because he's like, Jesus Christ, guys, I'm out here being as successful as we can be.
Yeah.
And as soon as you throw it somewhere else, it's a turnover. You know, you got to have balance, of course. You can't give it to him 40 times in a row. But, I mean, you gave it to him 3 times in a row, and he got yardage. So,
yeah.
You know, you kind of nonetheless, Centennial heading north.
Yeah. You know, we're seeing, and we've seen this from Frontier with their quarterback Stotler, much like they're almost mirror images. Copus, same way. They sit back there, not real active in the pocket. They've got great timing. It's 1, 2, 3 ball. They stay clean because of their timing. They're not going to make a lot of plays with their feet like some of the other quarterbacks in town, but they just manage their offense.
Absolutely. And now it's a great job by Holden, who's having that's actually Jackson McDonald having a phenomenal game. But great point that you make before that play, Coach, is we haven't really talked about Adam Copus a lot tonight. But all he's doing is managing the football game and putting his team in a position to be successful, drive in and drive out. So fantastic job by Copus doing what he needed to do, because he's made some amazing throws tonight that haven't always turned into touchdowns and catches, but have turned into penalties and have kept the chains moving. So kudos to Copus. 1st and 10, Centennial. And now that's the jet sweep. And that's Estrada still on his feet. Uh-oh. One man to beat, and if he gets by this one. Wow.
Zigzagging on 1st down, gets about 25 yards there. Wow.
Whoa, and that was Hernandez on the carry. I thought it was number 1.
Talking about managing this offense, you know, Centennial scored 28 against Redwood, 39 against the Oro Grande, and 60 against Independence.
Woo!
They've already got 33 tonight, so.
Absolutely. And one of the things I learned about Coach Durrett when I first met him, he was a guest on my Renegade Report show. He had just moved from Texas, and now they're going to that corner route, and it's a one-on-one ball, but that's going to be out of bounds. But Coach Durrett had just moved from Texas. It was the spring. I needed guests for the show, and he comes in, and right away, Coach, it was like a magnetic connection based on his football brain. Comes from this Texas environment where they spread the football around, does a lot of great things. And he talked about changing the mentality of what Centennial football was the year prior to him, because it was a lot of heavy run, a lot of condensed offense. He does a great job of opening it up.
Yeah.
Now they go right back to the corner route again, and he tried to one-hand that.
A little post corner by number 5 there, Braden Rugel.
Wow. So that's the one thing we've seen out of them too, Coach. They ain't scared to go right back to what they went to.
No. Like I said, Copas came in with 11 touchdown passes. He's thrown, 3 tonight?
Wow.
14 in 4 games, so. And
wow.
had only thrown 2 interceptions, I believe.
And it doesn't look like he's planning on slowing down at any time, as that's complete, and that's going to be a touchdown. And right
Rubel.
back to Rubel.
Brady Rubel.
So with 7:52 to play, Centennial goes up 39-7 off of Adam Copas. Right arm, right on cue.
Right on cue. We're talking about him. Again, Ridgeview not putting a lot of pressure on him. If you've noticed, he's very clean. He's probably one of the cleanest guys on the field. So that means he's not getting a lot of pressure. And like I said, you've got to be able to put pressure on that quarterback.
Yeah, and it's a double-edged sword because you hope to have extra coverage guys out there to help you with Santiago, and all of these other weapons start going off because you're doubling them. It's like pick your poison. But nonetheless, 40-7, Centennial over Ridgeview. Beautiful night. It's been a scorcher on the West Coast, but they say we're to expect some rain this weekend.
So I hear. And the Renegades
will be on the road against El Camino.
Oh, okay.
We've had some tough battles down there, Coach. We've also had some games not even be finished because it had to be called because it gets too physical and guys getting violent and trying to tear helmets off. But we owe them a couple of L's, so I'm excited to see what we got. And I think this Renegade football team that we have on display is ready for business, Coach.
Well, this will be a true test. Last week was just a warm-up against Pierce. And then a scrimmage against West Hill. So you got 2 lightweight warm-ups, and now you get into the big boys.
Absolutely. And speaking of Ridgeview Wolfpack players turned Renegade, our player of the game last week, Chris Thompson, with 2 interceptions.
Okay.
And he wasn't even the starter. He came in for Morgan Dutton, got an interception in the red zone in the first half, got an interception in the red zone in the second half, and was our Red Shield player of the game. So shout out to Chris Thompson. He just followed me on Instagram. That's my little bro right there, DB game. $7:49 to play. Let's see if Ridgeview is going to try to do what we talked about and simplify the process, or if they're going to keep trying to extend the ball out on the edge. It hasn't been very successful. They go to Hall inside. Hall falls forward for 2 yards. And I'll tell you every time, listeners, 2 yards is better than a 5-yard loss.
Yeah. And that was one of the few times that they've held Hall to less than 4 yards.
All right, great point. You know, and one of the things that I'm trying to reiterate is the fact is that you want to put yourself in a position to have makeable third down conversion opportunities. They haven't done that based on the fact that they're taking too many chances early on first down. And now they go right back to that wheel route. Oh, and it's caught. One hand. Nice job by Tremaine Stalker. They go with that rocket screen.
Yeah, and Keyron Marshall, the corner 19 for Centennial, knew what was coming, thought he had a beat on it, and it looked like Stalker just went up and took it from him. He goes, hey, that was mine.
Amazing job, one hand. They fake the rocket screen, throw the real route behind it. 1st and 10.
Marshall just got kind of mossed right there.
You got mossed. So now they think they found something. Now they're going to Jackson. Pass is incomplete, underthrown.
Marshall's confidence is down a little bit. They went after him again.
You know, and if you're Ridgeview's coaching staff, you're like, hey, they keep doing it to us. Let's find the weakest link.
Yeah.
2nd and 10 for Mason Mendoza, the sophomore transfer out of Shafter. Shotgun double set, spread set with a wing, and they're going back to the ground with Hall. And that's a huge hit on the inside by number 22, Caden Bowen. Wow.
Uh-oh.
And that was a huge hit. And now you got Hall limping off after it.
It could be a night for Mr. Hall.
Yeah, and you see his dad, the real Mr. Hall, trying to help him, and it looks like it might just be cramps, Coach, hopefully. What a luxury to have your dad on the sideline. So now Mendoza forced to make plays with his arm, and that should have been a late hit. Luckily, Mason DeLeon avoids the late.
DeLeon just give him a little pat there. He said, you'll be okay.
1st and 10, Wolfpack. Centennial, 40 even on the front line, and they're getting pressure, and now they get to him. Oh, and that's a huge loss.
That was DeLeon again, 44.
DeLeon is flying around, and that's a huge loss of about 13.
I talked about it, and I told you, I think his dad
is a former driller.
Former driller. I'm not for certain, but and we talked about it. It hadn't been confirmed yet, so I don't want to.
Yeah, well, we do got a lot of former drillers over here living in this Ridgeview area.
And there's DeLeon again.
Oh, DeLeon putting on the show, and that's Nunez tackled in the backfield. And how about 2 straight tackles for a loss by DeLeon? And the way he's playing, I'm going to bet that his dad was a driller.
So Isaiah Nunez, who's also one of the Ridgeview's leading tacklers, now decides to pick up the slack now that Hall's out of the game. But he's bouncing around on the sideline. Hall is like he's ready to go back in.
Yeah, so DeLeon balling out for Centennial. He's going to come off the field right now. Looks like he wasn't too happy about that either. So now we have a timeout, Ridgeview. We'll take a timeout with 3:44 to play in the 3rd quarter and be back with more Kerr Network football right after this.
We all come from different backgrounds and practice different traditions, but we belong to one humanity. At Valley Strong Credit Union, we care deeply about the communities where we live and serve. That's why over the past 80 years, we've donated and invested millions of dollars into various partnerships, nonprofits, and businesses in Kern County. And as we continue to grow, we remain rooted here in our community. Valley Strong. Grow your possibilities.
We are back. Ridgeview High looking to try to just execute and get some drives to finish. But they are behind the chains again, Coach.
Man, 3rd and about 25.
Yeah, and you're right at your 50. You got to want to try to get some of this yardage, not all of it. And that's what they do and go right back to the ground. But great job.
Wow, 74 for Centennial. Hudson Rasmussen.
Wow, Rasmussen, the senior defensive lineman, just putting a stop to the Ridgeview drive. Now it looks like they're just going to be content with punting the football just to try to stop the bleeding, because you don't want to continue giving Centennial amazing field position when you're already trailing 33 points.
I think, yes, Ridgeview was down one man there.
Yeah, and that's going to upset the coaches.
Yeah. I think they've been, no, by now it's about the 10th time they've punted tonight.
Right. They've almost blocked every one of them. Oh, and it takes a Ridgeview.
I don't know why Centennial puts anybody back. If they're not going to catch it, send another, bring him up, he can rush the punter.
Absolutely. I mean, because another luxury of being a punt returner with a 33-point lead, the muff isn't going to cost you the game. So go ahead and try to give yourself a shot to catch the ball in live game action.
Yeah. Get yourself in the ball game.
Right. He'd owe us about 150 push-ups right now, Coach. So 239.
We talked about Centennial being one of the surprise teams in town, along with Frontier and Tehachapi, but on the other end, you've got some teams that you got about 5 teams that haven't even won a game yet this year.
Wow.
You got East High, West High, South, Foothill, and Stockdale haven't won a game. And there's a chance a couple of those may not win a game.
And our drillers haven't won a game yet either. Trips open set for Centennial. They go with the inside zone read. Now you wonder if Coach Durrett. Oh, and now he's still on his feet. I was going to say, you wonder if Coach Durrett is going to try to call the dogs off a little bit. But, hey, if you're Ridgeview, you still got to make tackles.
One of the good things that we've seen, and we're on the same line on this, is Ridgeview's down 40-7, but I'm seeing good body language on the sideline. You're not seeing anybody check out already. You're seeing guys still in the game.
Absolutely. Oh, and he's still on his feet. Whoa. Down at the 50, and that's another Centennial first down off a huge game.
Angel Lozano, a new name. We haven't called his name tonight. Copus doesn't have a great arm, but he throws a very catchable ball. Very soft, catchable ball for these guys.
Yeah, Copus is quietly having a phenomenal night.
Yeah.
I love to see his numbers because he hasn't been off target much. Now he has another first down. They go back to the zone read, and that's a nice job finishing the run for a 3-yard gain for Lozano.
So you got about a minute left in this third quarter.
Yeah, and if you're Ridgeview, you're playing for pride right now. We always talk about no matter what the score is, it's about energy level and effort through the full context of the game. And you got to have some pride. They've played well in spots. Just outgunned and outmatched overall tonight.
Yeah.
And that offensive line is starting to pay dividends as we get in some huge holes.
Well, the one thing you've got to be able to take chances, too. And Ridgeview's lined up in the same defense. They get out there. The players are set. There's no movement. There's no disguising. And when you give a quarterback like Copus, where if you're just going to stand there and be in the same spot every time, then advantage to me because I know where you're going to be.
Yeah, and he's taking advantage totally. With 3 seconds left, they get that last play off, and that's going to be a hitch caught on the outside. And that's going to be the end of the third quarter as Centennial is up 40 over the Ridgeview Wolfpack with 7.
We all come from different backgrounds and practice different traditions, but we belong to one humanity. At Valley Strong Credit Union, we care deeply about the communities where we live and serve. That's why over the past 80 years, we've donated and invested millions of dollars into various partnerships, nonprofits, and businesses in Kern County. And as we continue to grow, we remain rooted here in our community. Valley Strong. Grow your possibilities.
Welcome back to Kern High Network. Centennial playing a little more slower tempo, but still getting results. They have a 2nd and 4, and they're going back to the ground, and Lozano's showing out, but we got a holding penalty that's going to bring that back.
Nice run. That was good enough for first down, but it's going to come back. There was some hit going on that one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about it, Coach. The energy level and body language on both sides of the football still looks pretty dang good, even though we're not in a closely knit contest.
And we're actually moving down into the dark side of the stadium. I didn't realize it until you told me that the light standard on that end is out. Haven't been out the whole game. So not only do you have the sprinklers coming on every 5 minutes, you got a whole light standard out.
Hey, you got to get creative, man, when you're under man.
I was going to say when I walked in, the Ridgeview Stadium always looks like it's under construction. Or it was never finished, but it is what it is.
Nonetheless, they've had some amazing talent come out of this institution.
Fly swept.
Ooh, tough running all the way down the sideline by number 7. That's Roland Myers.
Myers has had some plays. He had that long kickoff.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going to have another hole, bring that back. So as we see some fresh jerseys come in for the Golden Hawks, we're starting to see it
getting a little sloppy.
A little sloppy. Took the words right out of my mouth, Coach. So that's going to be backed up. Centennial right on the brink of a running clock. Ridgeview trying to do their best to play with some pride and keep Centennial from getting another scratch. So we'll talk about schedules. Ridgeview, they opened up with Clovis West and Liberty before taking on Stockdale and Centennial tonight. They'll be at North next week, and then we'll host Frontier coming back home.
North, no pushover. I tell you what, that'll be a good battle, North High and Ridgeview next week.
Always playing with some toughness, but how about that pocket and protection by Centennial? And now he just skates on out. Great job by Copus.
Hey, you talked about schedule, and then Centennial has Sanger.
Wow.
Sanger's, I believe they're started the preseason in the top 10.
All right.
So that should be a good one. Then they go to Stockdale, Highland, Liberty, Garces, and Frontier. So their last 3 games are bears for Centennial. So they'll find out if they're for real or not.
Yes, indeed. Being 4-0 definitely helps you feel more real. Ooh, nice inside trap play, and they got Lozano, and that's going to be another penalty. So just a penalty fest in this fourth quarter so far by Centennial. They've rotated a couple of offensive linemen in, but that's going to be another holding called by the legend, James Taplin. My first flag football coach, and guess what, Coach? I'm going to have you dying laughing. Guess what position he put me in?
Let me say, nose tackle, nose guard.
I was the starting center.
Okay.
So I would always joke with him as I grew up and matured into a specialty player that, hey, Coach, what were you thinking, man? I told you I needed to be out on the edge. You had me in the interior line weighing about 60 pounds, soaking wet. Major love for Coach Tapp, man. I always give him the blues about that. He was my first coach, but had me playing center. We did used to run the center pass every now and then, though. Nonetheless, Centennial is 4th down on the box, but 3rd and 9 on the big board, so we'll go with that. And they go with the swing route, and that's caught by Lozano, and that's going to be another 1st down, I believe. If he can get to the 25-yard line, and he does, and that's going to be a huge 1st down for Centennial in their quest for the running clock.
Tackled by Jason Grant from the Wolfpack.
Shout out to my man, Jason Grant. The Grant family name synonymous with Ridgeview. And I believe one of the coaches as well as Mr. Grant down there. Right back to that power, and oh my goodness. Woo. Touchdown saving tackle. And that's
Roland Myers having himself a second half, and you mentioned earlier he's only a sophomore.
Whoa. I mean, so you talked about it too, Coach.
Yeah.
Just how good they're going to be.
Santiago, Hogan Hoge.
Hogue, the junior. Roster filled with juniors, sophomores, a couple of seniors, leadership. But ultimately, things to look forward to for Richard Starrett and the Golden Hawks. And they go back inside, and that's going to be a touchdown for Jonathan Boyd, the senior running back. And now we have entered the danger zone for Ridgeview High School as Centennial takes it up 46-7.
So now we get into the point where we have a running clock when the team goes up by 35. The clock continuously runs for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that they're going to roll it right after this PAT. Kick is up and kick is good. And that's going to make it a 47-7 game. And it may not start running until we get back into regular play. But nonetheless, Ridgeview came out playing pretty tough, had some opportunities in the first quarter. If they had caught a post pass that was thrown right at the 46-yard line, it would have been a touchdown to tie it up 7-7, and then we would be looking at a totally different football game.
Yeah.
But a couple of dropped footballs, and you give it back to a well-coached team in Starrett and the Golden Hawks.
And you hit it. You both dropped footballs, both on the offensive side, and they dropped some interceptions. They had their chances to, the Centennial laid it out there for them, but they didn't take advantage of it. And Centennial says, okay, give it back to me. I'll take it.
Yeah, great point, Coach, because I forgot about the drop interceptions, because those were just as big as some of the drop passes that were across the middle. So now you got Hall. He's picked it up, but that's another huge hit on the inside, and it's going to be 1st and 10 Ridgeview. I mean, so our director, Dr. Julian Wilson, he has his Vietnam sun hat on, looks over and tells us, hey, guys, I think it's time for you guys to start thinking about player of the game. I don't know who hasn't been watching, but it is no mystery, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
There's a young man on the field that has 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns, almost had 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Not even going to talk about the amount of yardage and just impact plays he's had from a penalty perspective. We ain't even going to say his name. Y'all figure it out later. But Zamir Hall still running tough. He's probably up close to about 100 yards too now, Coach. Even though it didn't look pretty, he's still been successful individually. And you never want to talk individual effort in games, but you got to give credit where credit is due. This kid is tough as nails and doing everything he can to try to give him his offense an opportunity to move the chains every drive.
Yeah, you know, he gets a lot of carries. He's 56 carries in the first 3 games. Probably another 18 tonight, 20. So he's getting his workload on tonight.
Absolutely. Oh, and now we got another penalty. But as we see, ladies and gentlemen, the clock is going to continue to run.
Now, the one thing we didn't, we had for Ridgeview, Ridgeview started number 4 at quarterback, Andres Rivera. But after that first series, we haven't seen him. And he was their leading passer in the first 3 games. Second series, we see Mendoza, and we've seen Mendoza for the rest of the game. So I don't know what happened to Rivera not starting.
And I don't see him on the sideline either, Coach. I mean, as far as him being injured or anything. But on that play, we had a situation where we had a false start. And then at the end of the false start, it looks like the lineman who was upset with the call turned around and mouthed off to Coach Tapp. And Coach Tapp hit him with the dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct. So Ridgeview heading in the wrong direction again. They go back to Hall, and everybody in the stadium knows that that's all they have for the most part. So it's going to be hard to be successful for Hall now with 5 minutes left to play. You know, we have seen some bright spots from other players like Tremaine Stalker. You know, we had a couple of runs by Isaiah Nunez, but not enough consistency overall from the offense, from the Wolfpack.
Yeah, and then their defense was on the field the whole first half. It was a warm night. It was 101 degrees at kickoff. Finally, we're getting a little breeze up here.
Finally. Oh, and they throw it out to Hall, and that's going to be a 1-yard game, and Mendoza's been under pressure all night. Fantastic job by the Centennial defense. We haven't talked about them enough, led by De Leon.
They come up, well, we know 2 interceptions by Santiago. Yeah, and Copus, you're talking about player of the game. Of course, Copus, he's close to probably 300 yards tonight, but he's only done it on one side of the ball, where Santiago's doing it on both sides of the ball.
That is the difference. Oh, and then almost another interception off a tip ball. Mendoza trying to take a shot and get it to Jason Grant, but just great defense in that secondary. And, as much credit that we given both offenses at the start of the game, it's been a game highlighted more from the defensive perspective because Centennial has just not given up anything.
Right. Haven't made a lot of mistakes. Played a pretty clean football game, both with the penalties, no turnovers, won the hidden yardage battle.
Low snap. This punter is making a name for himself tonight as he gets another Ridgeview roll, and that's going to be a nice 40-yard punt. And he's probably going to get the most action of anybody on the team after the game from the young ladies. He's been busy. Hey, man, come on. Don't look over here and giggle like y'all don't remember them Friday night lights, man. We used to always go to Jack in the Box after our driller games. That was back when the city was, it was still safe for kids to go out and hang out after the games. You know, getting out a lot of nice camaraderie. Have our friendly neighborhood dice games until they get broke up by Joe and the rest of the guys coming down. Amazing memories from my high school days on California Avenue. But back to Centennial. Lozano's having a heck of a second half, Coach.
Yeah, he is. And they got a new quarterback. Centennial has a new quarterback, number 14, Grant Shelley, a senior.
You know, and that was one of the things that we always loved to do with our driller football teams. It was important for us to be up a certain amount by a certain time of the game because we wanted to get our teammates who worked their tails off throughout the week an opportunity to get out and showcase their talent too. So it's great to see the backup guys getting some opportunities and still playing at a high level.
Yeah. And we talked about the running clock. There's 1:50 left in this game. And it goes fast once that running clock kicks in.
Absolutely, Coach. So with 1 minute to play, I mean, we came in talking about him, and he's been as advertised. There's no mystery.
Right.
Player of the game, Coach.
I think you're thinking about number 9, Jackson Santiago, for the second time this year, correct? He'll be player of the game.
Wow, I mean, and ultimately, I remember having teammates get mad at me for winning consecutive players of the game. Sometimes you just got to call it like it is. The guy's a phenomenal individual athlete, but he's an amazing human being, an amazing team guy, comes from an amazing family. So our player of the game for the Kern High Network contest for the Golden Hawks versus Ridgeview will be Jackson Santiago. 2 touchdowns receiving, 2 interceptions, not just simple interceptions, highest point interceptions caught with his hand. Amazing output by the young man who definitely was as good as advertised in my first time seeing him this season.
My first time too. He was everything advertised. So hopefully good luck with him and the Golden Hawks.
No, amazing overall effort by their team as a whole. I mean, their offensive line, defensive line played fantastic. Cope has played fantastic. But ultimately, when you got a guy contributing to 4 individual efforts, whether it's scores or turnovers, it's kind of hard to not highlight them. So congratulations to the Centennial Golden Hawks. They'll be off next week to head where, Coach?
They will be going to Sanger.
Heading to Sanger. Ridgeview Wolfpack, they will be heading to North. It's going to be a tough battle. We saw some exciting things from Zamir Hall. Had the nice 100-yard return. Definitely some things to capitalize on early. You know, we're rooting for these guys. It's an honor to be part of the process. But it's been an amazing opportunity to be with you, Coach. You know, I always love getting out here. It gives us time to reflect on our process as you being my coach. But love calling the games with you.
And I'll see you in about less than 24 hours, huh?
Right. I'm talking like I'm not going to see you till next week. We will be live tomorrow as Miramonte hosts the West High Vikings. But I'm going to go down here and run and get this shirt to Jackson Santiago. We want to thank all of our listeners at the Kern High Network. I want to thank our sponsors at Valley Strong Credit Union, our staff at the Kern High School District Superintendent's Office, our boss, the man Stan Green, our secretary, Deanna Ribbons, who sends off those invoices. Ultimately, it can't be done without our director, Dr. Julian Wilson. He's the man pushing the buttons and calling the plays up top. It's been an amazing night, but we are signing off from Ridgeview High School. See you tomorrow.